Hi, good evening. Welcome along to the Transfer Show. Loads going on in this window, and we've managed to secure both Dharmesh Sheth and James Green on a free. We'll hear from them in just a moment. Arsenal are looking into the possibility of signing the RB Leipzig striker Benjamin Sesko this month. Kyle Walker is ready to fly to Italy to complete a loan move to Milan.
Arsenal over the possibility of doing a deal for a forward in this transfer window. And there is a long-term interest in that man. That's the RB Leipzig striker, Benjamin Sesko. Discussions are ongoing on whether a deal can be done in this transfer window. I've always maintained that it's very, very difficult to do such a deal, and a big one like this in January. He actually signed a new contract at RB Leipzig just last summer that takes him through till 2029. And his agent has actually told Sky Sports News earlier on in this transfer window that he expects him to stay at Leipzig in this transfer window. Look, Leipzig don't want him to leave. Yes, on the one hand, they've effectively been eliminated from the Champions League this season because they've lost 6 games out of 6 in the group stage so far. But they're only a point off the top 4 in the Bundesliga, so they would want Sesko to try and spearhead a return to the Champions League for next season. Interestingly, though, it's understood that Leipzig have a gentleman's agreement that if the right offer was to come along in the summer, then they would allow him to leave. And also, quite significantly, we understand that there's no release clause for Benjamin Sesko, which would mean it would be very difficult to do a deal in a January transfer window. Just a reminder of what Sesko's agent, Elvis Basanovic, told Sky Sports News earlier on this month. He says, "We're aware of interest from several top clubs for a long time. If you ask me if Sesko will move in January, I can only say Sesko is happy with his development in RB Leipzig at the moment, and he is an RB Leipzig player with a long-term contract." But we've heard quotes like that before.
I was just about to say,
players can move.
Yeah, we will see. Let's talk Kyle Walker. What's the latest on him, James?
Arsenal are monitoring the situation. But I've got to add, Mike, from Wolves' perspective, they are adamant that this player is not for sale in this window. They remain confident that he will sign a new contract. He will be with them in what is a very pivotal part of the season as they fight against relegation. And they don't need to sign him. Financially, they don't need to sign him. Remember, this is a club that sold the likes of Pedro Neto, Max Kilman in the summer. So they've got plenty of finances. It's not under financial restraint to be forced to sell the player, and they want to keep him. Ultimately, he's one of their best players, if not Wolves' best player currently. For Nottingham Forest, though, and the reports of this, it really does show their ambition right now as a football club to not only look at this season to push on as far as they can, a third in the Premier League table in great form, 7 wins in the last 8 games, but also shows where the club wants to go next season, that they're not looking at this season as just a one-hit wonder. They want to maintain European football and competing at the top end of the Premier League for a long time, and a signing like 25-year-old Matheus Cunha certainly shows that ambition. But as I said, Wolves adamant he's not for sale.
Fine. Now, Dharmesh, James just mentioned that Arsenal have shown an interest in Cunha. Who else are they interested in?
Yeah, look, internal talks are continuing.
Yeah, Kyle Walker, actually, if you remember rightly, we were speaking about Kyle Walker last week and the potential about AC Milan, but the likelihood AC Milan were looking at Marcus Rashford at that point. Fast forward just over a week, Kyle Walker looks set to join AC Milan on loan to the end of the season with an option to buy. Now, we understand that he's waiting to get confirmation from Manchester City to fly out to Milan to complete this deal. Now, Sky Italy are reporting that this deal is already done. It's sealed. It's happening. Kyle Walker will be an AC Milan player. Though the UK side of things, the Manchester City side of things, are saying that that's not actually the case right now. So the agreement's not quite there yet. But we understand it's certainly at an advanced stage, and very soon Kyle Walker will become an AC Milan player. And you think about how quickly this has moved. It was only, I think it was less than 2 weeks ago that Pep Guardiola revealed and surprised a lot of us when he said Kyle Walker had spoken to the club and said he wants to play his football elsewhere. And then within a couple of weeks, he's already looking set to secure a move to Italy to play for AC Milan. And he's going to have to help AC Milan. They're struggling a little bit in Serie A this season, 8th in the league. And his experience, though, you would have thought will really, really help them, propel them back.
Interesting, City would let a defender go with all their defensive injury worries. I gather you've got another line from City, James.
Yeah, I've got a line that's literally just reached us very, very shortly. Now, City have been, as we've seen in the transfer window, already active in signing young centre-backs. Now, this involves another one, a player called Juma Bar, who's 18-year-old from Sierra Leone, and we understand that City are looking to advance this signing, loan him out to Lens. Now, this is despite a complaint by his parent club, Real Valladolid. Now, this is where it gets a bit complicated. He was loaned to Real Valladolid from a team in Sierra Leone. Then he was signed on a permanent at the start of January, so January 1st. But the player wants to break this youth contract he has with the club and wants to join City. Now, we understand from a statement of Real Valladolid just given us that the player actually didn't show up to training. The club are accusing Manchester City as being the architects of that by getting into the player's ear about doing that. We haven't had that confirmed, I must state. But Real Valladolid are saying they are very disappointed and have a feeling of indignation about the actions of the player because this is a player they gave an opportunity of a lifetime to. But it looks like Manchester City closing in on another young centre-back.